I'm Olayinka Yusuf, an associate professor of rural sociology from the Department of Agricultural Economics and Extension Services of Kwara State University, North Central Nigeria. So I am the principal investigator of the research team on AI, that is artificial intelligence for women in agriculture. And that is a broad theme of our project. But specifically, we say we are looking at AI for economic empowerment of women farmers. So basically, the problem we are addressing with our project is that women have a lot of responsibility within the farming household. They have the production responsibility, they have the reproduction responsibility, they have a lot of roles that they play. And they also engage predominantly in agriculture. Now, the agriculture they engage in is rain-fed agriculture. They don't have the facilities to engage in irrigation farming, except very little amongst them. Now, because of the change in climate, so the vagaries of the change in the weather condition, which is worsening day in, day out, that makes them very vulnerable, particularly with respect to their farming activities. Yeah, so our project intends to look at what AI solution can we help the women with now. So that's why we say AI solution for climate smart farming. Climate smart farming is broad because there are a lot of areas one can look at. But the area that we are really looking at in our project has to do with, if we can be able to tell ahead when will it rain, that we call it onset of rain, and also when will the raining season, when will it stop, the duration of a raining period. If women farmers can know this ahead, and not even women farmers alone, even the male farmers, if they can know this ahead, then they'll be able to plan ahead. Because this is a typical scenario. At the beginning of the planting season, when the first rain falls, they would wait a bit. When the second one falls, and they feel, it is stable, they go out and plant. So because of the change in weather, women are so vulnerable. If they can now know when it is likely the rain is going to start, to call that onset of rain, how long the rain is going to last, and also the length of the rainy period, they could be able to plan their activities ahead. We are trying to develop a solution. At this point in time, we interacted with them. We knew that access to internet is proliferating more and more, and it's getting even to the nook and cranny of rural areas. It is. So, but what we are trying to work on is an app that can help them with the weather information. But at the moment, the funding of our project would not get us to that stage. But we are getting a repository that can be available on GitHub that would be able to, have the predictive input that they would be able to know, okay, when is it likely going to rain and things like that. But then on the long run, we hope we can expand on this to get to developing that app. But in the interim, there are similar apps that look like what we are doing. They have their limitations, but we had started with those similar apps. Like one is called NIMET. NIMET is Nigerian Meteorological Agency in Nigeria. They have an app like that. We had that trainings with the farmers, and they were very, very open, to accepting, to adopting and adapting, the use of that particular app. The key thing to this project is co-creation of ideas, solutions, recommendations. So what we thought to ourselves, in order to address our key objectives, we had outlined specific programs that are going to be born out of co-creation of ideas. So we had we first identified major stakeholders that we can get input from them, and then to translate to our desired output. So one of these major stakeholders include those in the academia. So we held a conference. We called it the first International Conference on Artificial Intelligence for Women in Agriculture. And it was an hybrid conference, and it was a very successful one. So we had a keynote presenter that we specifically brought in within the intersection of agriculture and artificial intelligence. Then we had about 5 lead papers that were presented, and then also conference papers that were presented. So we were able to generate a communique from this, and the communique gave insight into gender inclusive strategies. Yeah, so that is just one. Then we also had the boot camp and hackathon. So for that, we had students, postgraduate students, undergraduate students. We wanted input from them. So we put them through an online boot camp session for about 2 months. And at the end of the 2 months, we now gave them some 3 to 4 weeks to go on a competition. We divided them into group. So that's the hackathon part of it. So they went, and then we gave them the questions. They tried to develop some solutions. So we now build on their solution, on their data, to get exactly where we stand at the moment. If we are talking about replication, yeah, we are using open source. When we say open source now, our codes will be available. When we run, what we are trying to look at is, we try to predict, will it rain or not, for instance, based on some inputs. So now this is going to be available on GitHub, and that is already an opportunity for replicating, because anyone can look into what we do and they can take it up from there. If they want to expand, they can expand. They can even decide to bring in some more variables as predictors to look at, the output that we desire. And they could also even develop on that and get more beautiful things. The project we have at the moment would not get us to develop the app that we desire from this, but we'll get to a stage close to that. So we are open to collaborations, hoping that we can get, support, collaborative support and engagement from others of like minds, so that we're able to get to that point to get that app to the women farmers to be able to use to better their conditions.